Spurgeon here with RevZilla TV to talk to you today about the Rowe Electronics PDM60 available at RevZilla.com. So the PDM60 that you see in front of me is going to be for any of you guys out there that want to mount accessories on your motorcycle and want to kind of clean up that rat's nest of wiring you might find in your bike. This is going to be for sport bikes, dual sport bikes, adventure bikes, anybody out there that has accessories in your bike, you're going to be able to find a use for this. I do want to say right up front, I know this can look intimidating. You got a bunch of wires here. Anytime you're dealing with electronics, it can be intimidating. This is really a simple product to use. I was really impressed with it, and it's going to be something that anyone out there can tackle. On our BSD, or beard scale difficulty for installation, you are looking at a 2 out of 3. This is an electronic device. It's going to take you a couple hours to get it in and get it programmed, but all in all, it's going to be a relatively simple lift as long as you take your time and read the instructions. We'll talk more about install at the end, but right now let's jump in and talk about what sets the PDM apart from some of the other distribution modules out there in the market. So Rowe Electronics set out to give you a really high quality product that was easy to use, and it simplifies your riding experience. So instead of having to worry about fuses and wires and all that other jazz, it's going to give you a nice knit product that's going to take care of all of that for you. So what you see first and foremost in the construction of this is you're going to have a completely weatherproof design. So the back is going to be sealed, all the wires are going to be sealed, and you're going to be able to mount this anywhere on your motorcycle. So you can mount it to a frame rail, you can mount it underneath your seat, wherever it is that you want to put it that's more convenient for your bike, you're going to be able to do that. So what you have is you have 3 wires. You've got a main power wire, you've got a trigger wire, and you've got a ground wire, and then you've got 6 circuit wires in the front. So once you have the actual power, ground, and trigger wound up, you're going to be able to then have 6 different circuits to mount 6 different accessories to this. You can set it to 5 amps, 10 amps, 15 amps. It's going to come preset from the factory, 2 channels at 5, 2 at 10, 2 at 15, and then you can also bump one up to a 20 amp circuit if you want to for something like a horn. Now, with those circuits, you're going to have 2 trigger wires. So once you have your accessories mounted up, you have 2 ways of triggering those accessories. You can either choose to trigger it through your ignition, so when you turn your key on, your GPS unit automatically turns on as well. Or you can have it set to a ground trigger. A ground trigger would be if you want to actually have a switch mounted to your handlebar. So for some of you out there that are running accessory lights, maybe you want to have it set where when you turn your key on, your GPS unit comes on and you've got that set to go, but you don't want your lights to turn on right away, you would set that to a ground trigger. So then you would have your little switch in your handlebar, you flip that switch on, and your lights come on. So you have a really nice functionality in this is that you can program those 6 circuits differently. Maybe you want 3 circuits to come on with your ignition and 3 to come on with a switch. You can do that. The other thing you can do is you can set it to an AND or an OR function. So with an AND function, you'd have to have the key turned on and you have to have that ground trigger turned on. And with an OR function, you could have your ignition turned on and your accessory lights come on, or if you're sitting in a campsite and you want to have it wired up so you can just flip that switch without the bike running and your lights come on, you can do that as well. Again, that's all programmable through this little unit, and it's all going to be done through a PC downloadable file that you can get right from PDM's website. You can download the program, plug this right in, and program it however you want to. With those, you're also going to be able to have a delay. So this is going to come preset from the factory with a 7-second delay, and you can go all the way up to 240 seconds for your start on. So you turn your key on, and maybe you don't want your lights to come on right away. You want your lights to come on 15 seconds afterwards. You can set that. Maybe you want to turn your bike off, and you want your heated gear to stay on for an extra minute. You can do that. So you turn your bike off, and for 60 seconds, the heated gear keeps going. You can do a delay of 240 seconds turning on and 600 seconds coming off. So they've really done a great job of just thinking of all these little nuances that could help riders in different situations. Again, really cool thought out processes when they came up with this stuff. The other thing that I want to talk about with this is that think of it as a breaker box, not a fuse box. A fuse box, you're out there, you're on the road, you're stuck, you blow a fuse. Well, now what happens if you don't have a fuse to replace it? You're kind of out of luck. So what the PDM60 does is it functions more like a breaker box in your house. If you were to blow a circuit, you simply turn the ignition on, turn the ignition off, and it's going to reset everything for you. Now, if you haven't fixed the problem, you're going to keep blowing that same circuit. So if you have a short to ground somewhere, you need to make sure you fix that. But once you fix it, you can reset your breaker and you're going to be good to ride. Again, a huge upgrade over the old mentality of having to use a fuse and having to have it replaced. So the other point that I want to point out, or as we kind of talk about and we kind of mosey into the installation part of this, is that with that fuse or that breaker mentality, you're going to have 6 LEDs across the top. These are going to light up in green, they're going to light up in red, and they're going to light up in orange. Green simply means you're good, you're going, everything's fine. Red is, hey man, you've got a fault somewhere, this isn't working right, check this out. And orange simply means it's inactive. So if you're only using 3 of the circuits, you can set the other 3 to inactive and you don't have to worry about them. That's going to take us right into install. So once you're looking at this, you decided, hey, I've got some accessories on my bike, I want to put this on here. In install, we're looking at a 2 out of 3 on our BSD, or Beard Scale Difficulty for Installation. We talked about that in the beginning. It's going to be an electrical piece. It's going to be an electrical lift. It's always going to be a little bit intimidating. Take your time. Rowe gives you great detailed instructions. You've got one main wire that has to go to your battery, and this is your big, beefy red wire. You're going to have a black wire and a silver wire. The black wire simply goes to ground. Silver wire is your ignition wire, so that's going to be the one you wire up into your ignition. They're going to give you all the taps that you need to install this to make installation as simple as possible. And then once you have your accessories, you simply wire the positive of your accessory to the circuit you want it to go to, and the other one to ground, and you're set to ride. You don't even have to hook this up to a PC and program it if you don't want to. It's going to come pre-programmed, and if you do want to mess around with it, you do want to program it, you simply plug this wire into the back. You've got your USB cable, plug that into your computer, and then you just use the program that's downloadable for free off of their website. The only nitpick that I have with this, the only thing that I really kind of had an issue with was, I don't own a PC. I'm a Mac user. So I would have liked to have seen, or I would like to see PDM kind of develop this where maybe they can come up with an app for your phone or an app for your laptop if it's an Apple product. But either way, I borrowed a PC from work, I got this installed, I got it programmed, and it works exactly as advertised. There's a lot of riders out there using the PDM60s on their bikes. If you want to hear more about what they have to say, do me a favor and click below. Read their opinions about how the PDM60 is working for them. If you have more questions for us, never hesitate. Get us on the phone, 877-792-9455, or simply type us out an email, cs@RevZilla.com. Thank you for joining us for this look at the PDM60. I'm Spurgeon. Enjoy the ride.